Hey guys, and welcome to the semi-final match of the Antichess World Cup. I'm playing the one and only Don Gary Born. Sorry for the inconvenience, I'm running a bit late. My idea was to stream on to stream with OBS, but yeah, didn't work out, so now I'm back to Twitch. Yeah, I hope everything is fine with the stream actually. I'm getting a notification that there are some frame drops. I hope that everything is alright. Yeah, I was recording a video with OBS a couple of days ago and I found out that OBS is a lot more appropriate for streaming and recording videos because I couldn't notice any frame drops, and with Streamlabs, if my internet is not good enough, it becomes kind of irritating because my screen gets blurry. So yeah, I hope that really everything is fine with the stream, and I hope you guys enjoy the match. So let's see what's happening in this position right now. If I take, I attack here and here. I guess I should take, and like d4 I can take here. Let's try this one. Actually, there is f4 which I shouldn't have allowed. Yeah, I keep getting notifications that the frame drops still occur. Yeah, looks better for me, so I hope I can convert it. Yeah, this is a very messy endgame. Knight c4 maybe. Oh shit, king f2. That was stupid. Yeah, I really got distracted by all this stuff regarding the stream. I keep getting notifications that I experience frame drops, which is really annoying. Yeah, I hope I can come back now. Guys, can you please let me know how you see the stream? Is everything alright or there are some problems? Do you see some blurry stuff on the stream or is it okay? I really don't know how it looks like because I have this notification drop frames detected 15 percentage over last 2 minutes. Yeah, and I blunder this one. Actually, this must be fine. This is fine. Missing easy stuff. I really need to focus. Okay, definitely a very messy position. Don't worry about the stream, just give it your best in the match. Yeah, that's a very good advice. Thank you, Peanut. Yeah, here I'm really not sure what he should play. Bishop b2, bishop g2 I have to take here. Yeah, definitely a messy position. I guess I gotta... Actually, if I take here, he takes here. I'm really not sure what's happening in this. queen raise. Maybe he will take here because he takes a protected piece. Yeah, I'm not sure about this endgame. Looks like winning, but I'm not sure. King e3. A6 here, a7. Yeah, this looks fine, I think. This must be a draw. I had the same endgame against Zindiskar in Amsterdam. I think it should be a draw. Maybe not. Bishop pawn? Am I missing something? Oh, he wrote slip. Yeah, now I'm winning. Bishop e4, this is a win. Okay. Yeah, I hope I'm getting back in the match now. Yeah, I'm not sure. This is a very tricky one. Trying to throw him off book. Yeah, I'm not sure how he should proceed now. This one is not protected. I can also take here. If he pushes when I take, I think I have a decent position. Something like b5 loses on the spot to queen c5 and queen a7. Oh, actually, guys, I didn't mention there is a 20-second delay. So yeah, you hear my comments with not on at the time I say them, but a bit later. Knight b5 coming. Mm, Rook c3. Rook f8 might be. Rook f8 might have been an annoying move. Yeah, this looks like a win for me. Hope I can convert it. Rook d8 though. Yeah, another tricky endgame. King f7, I have king d6, then king d7, d6. Yeah, not sure, but let's secure the draw. Okay, he goes for c4 again. Let's try the b5 and d6. I don't know if bishop e6 is a move. Let's give it a try. Maybe queen a4 and he takes my king, but so g5 and bishop h6. He'll go for h4 after takes and knight takes. Let's try this one. Let's try a6. I'm not really concerned about knight h7. Oh, did I miss that? It seems I did. Okay. Let's try queen f3 again. This time I'm going for this. h4 will be met by knight g3. I'm thinking about bishop a3, but I'm not sure. Maybe just king d1. Keep it safe for now. Rook e1. Yeah, just like regrouping the pieces and releasing the tension from the a3 square. Knight f5, rook f1, for example. d4 looks fine. If he allows king d3, then I'm winning. I expect e3, but now I have this move, then king d2, rook c6, I think. Knight c6, b4. Okay. Okay, he missed that. Yes. Alright. c4 again. He really goes for the wizard opening. Let's try e6 now. This kind of resembles a3. Of course, the pawn is still on a2. Okay, I have to do a king take. Let's develop the knight. Maybe should have pinned the knight though. But I'm not I'm not a big fan of his position, if I have to be honest. Mm, I can go for e5, then there is f4, maybe. Yeah, I really like that. There is no bishop h3, bishop a6, he takes my king, bishop e2, king takes. I can also push g5, but I also have bishop f5, so I believe I'm pretty fine here. It's getting tough. Again, time trouble. I'll try to punish the bishop. h4. Yeah, pinned my bishop. This was so bad. Yeah, how could I pin my bishop? I really had him. I really had him. I can't believe I pinned my bishop like that. I got panicked. Yeah. Yeah, this game was mine. I should have won. Now I'm in a must-win situation. I can't afford to lose. c5, king c3. This looks fine. Maybe shouldn't have spent so much time on this move. Yeah, I'm in a very tough situation. Yeah, e5 is a must. Yeah, I'm losing this one as well. Incredible. Yeah, I'm losing this one, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't know why he pushed knight f7 though. Why he played knight f7, excuse me. Oh crap, now I reconnected. Yeah, rook is not on my side. Yeah, rook is not on my side. I reconnected. Yeah. Yeah. That was just the yeah. I mean, rook is definitely not on my side. Yeah. Yeah. Internet, yeah, I mean my internet has been very bad since the beginning of the match. I I constantly received notifications the first two games that my frame that I experience frame drops, which means that my internet connection is bad. So I couldn't focus, and I was the first two, and of course I couldn't catch up from then on. Yeah, I'm losing this one. It really doesn't matter. No, it's not fun. It's not fun. It's really not a fun match for me. I didn't deserve to lose like that. Yeah, just I'm just so jinxed. I don't know. I've been so jinxed this match. There's b5 knight c6, but I take with the rook, and he can't escape the bishop. He has to play king e7. Knight f4 runs into king d5. Knight f4, there is just g6, but then I have e4, which should win. Maybe king c4. So he threatens. Yeah, I would like to preserve my king. He has nothing after knight e2, bishop e3, and king d4. I still see nothing. I mean, knight e2. What? g4 maybe. King f7. should put my knight, my king on this diagonal here. Yeah, too slow. King e6 is fine. King e6 was totally fine in this position. And maybe it was even winning. Queen e3 looks winning. Yeah, my connection again, like what's happening? What's happening? Yeah, I'm losing this one. I mean, this walk is unbelievable. Yeah, I can't play anymore. I can't play anymore with this net. I've switched to mobile data, but it's just disgustingly bad. Yeah, I guess yeah, I don't know what's happening. It says I'm disconnected, reconnected. Yeah, I'm reconnected again. Yeah, just insane, bro. Just insane. What's happening? Like, why exactly now? I don't get it. Why am I so cursed? Yeah, anyways, yeah. Yeah, he deserves it. Yeah, it's just how it should be, maybe. Yeah, it was just meant to be. Yeah, I don't even have any desire to analyze these games because I'm gonna tilt way more than I'm already. So I don't see the point. Yeah, guys, this is what it is. I, it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to fight for the title again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can analyze these games, but the first two games I was constantly getting these notifications that I'm I'm dropping framework, so yeah, whatever. I don't know what it was exactly, but yeah, I don't even know what the stream is. Is it like even worth watching? Yeah, this is just so winning, but I totally lost my focus. Yeah, maybe it's just for good. I don't know what to say. And come on, man, I don't see bishop c3. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Already, guys. I mean, I don't even know what is recorded, what is not. I'm constantly reconnecting, disconnecting everything. I don't know what's recorded and what's not. Yeah, already, guys. Yeah, thank you for watching. Mm, I'm I'm reconnecting every 2-3 minutes. Just no, there's no point to continue. Yeah, I'm gonna fight for the third place against Val, so yeah, I hope at least then it will be better. See you guys, take care. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, and welcome to the analysis part of my semi-final match for the Antichess World Championship against Tugger. It's been quite some time since this match took place. I briefly watched the recording before making this video about the analysis. Yeah, I can see I looked a bit different from now. Of course, you're gonna see that as well. So yeah, there were some circumstances which prevented me from fighting for the title, and this is what I can call my most painful was from all the matches I have played so far in big tournaments, and you guys are gonna find out why in this video. So guys, I hope you like the video, you enjoy the analysis, the games. So let's get started. Um, Alrighty, so this is the first game we played. Um, Before I start, actually, I would like to mention that it was first to 5.5, but we played 12 games. Yeah, so first to 5.5 means best of 10, but we played 12 games. Tagar, actually, I don't think he had any desire to continue after he scored 5.5 first. But I just decided to fight for the audience and also for the glory, for the fame, for the prestige, and yeah. Anyways, let's get Back to the serious stuff, let's analyze these games. So I had the black pieces and Tugger opened with c4. I responded with the symmetrical variation, which is c5. We have g3, then g6. Let me actually just turn off the engine just to avoid some extra lag. And here he made a fatal blunder playing knight h3, which unfortunately for me I couldn't spot how to punish. I played d5, which is a blunder back, and the right move was b5. So we have c takes, then g5, knight takes, queen a5, and then there are two options: knight takes f7 or knight takes h7. Regardless of what white does, it's winning for black, no matter what. So let's first take a look if white takes on h7. Queen takes on b5 for black. We have knight f8, queen takes, bishop takes, king takes, then bishop takes on h8, and then that's very winning for black after king g7, e5, etc. Or if we have the other variation where the knight takes on f7, we have still queen b5, knight takes the rook, queen takes, bishop g7, bishop takes bishop, knight h6, bishop takes knight, king f8, bishop takes king, and after d6, of course, white's bishop is just gonna capture everything. Alright, but instead, as I said, I played a blunder back, which is d5. So we have c takes pawn, queen takes pawn, and now queen a4 leading to a queen race. Here we have a blunder by me taking the rook. Tugger took my king. I took his knight with the bishop. Queen takes bishop, bishop takes bishop, queen f7, blunder back. Yeah, if I try to dive into these queen races, these positions, as you guys probably know, these are the most complex positions in anti-chess, so I don't see the point of just diving into all the possible variations. So I'm just gonna stick to the moves we played and just gonna commentate what the moves were, how strong they were based on the engine, of course. So yeah, we have queen takes f7, bishop takes pawn, which is a blunder which I don't understand, to be honest. King takes bishop, queen takes knight, and here I was better, so I managed to see the right move, which is to end the queen race by taking the queen with the rook. So here by Tugger we have knight c3, queen takes pawn on b2, rook b1, a slight inaccuracy according to the engine, queen takes rook, knight takes queen, and now knight c6. Here during the game I commentated that I was better. Also the engine agrees with me. It's just that I have more flexible pieces and I can easily just wait for these pawns to come down and then just sacrifice some of my pawns and pieces. But yeah, so here the idea is h5 and then to open up my rook, so I hid my rook behind the pawn on h7. Then we have h5, pawn takes pawn, d4, pawn takes pawn, g4, pawn takes pawn, then knight d2, which is a blunder according to the engine. We have g3, pawn takes, g3, now d3, dropping some pawns in the center. Now we have e5, king e2, a5, expanding my pawns on the queen side, trying to get some advantage, of course, and also trying to set up this chain of takes here on b5 and c6 once white pushes a4. So we have knight e4 by Tugger, rook h to c8, g4, now a4 by me, g5, rook c7, some blunders, but also we were in time trouble. We have king f3, h6. Here just severe time trouble, so I was just wondering what to do, and I dropped my both rooks, which of course, if I had more time, I wouldn't do. But yeah, I was just trying to not lose on time. I was facing some problems, guys, which you are gonna see when you look at the actual games during the match. I was really irritated by the problems and the issues I had to face, but it is what it is. Sometimes just people have to adapt to the bad circumstances they are forced to experience. So yeah, here this is made in 5 for Tugger, but he made a blunder by playing king e3. So we have b3 by me, pawn takes, knight d4, king takes, pawn takes. And this, according to the table base, is a draw. Let's see what happened in the game. Here we have d3, the only winning move, which I managed to play. Knight a3 here, again d2, but I promoted to bishop instead. King f5, only move for a draw for white, but Tugger played king f3 instead. Here, bishop d4, this is a move I'm convinced I would play if I had more time, but yeah, I pushed the pawn instead, and here he played knight b5, and just a terrible blunder by me, not seeing bishop to c3, knight to c3, and then just promotion and knight takes, and I would have won the game. Instead, I played one of the most stupid moves in this position, bishop to f6, and now this is just winning for white. Knight c3, bishop takes, b4, bishop takes, king f2, and then there is no way I can stop king e1, and here I resigned. Yeah, very unfortunate. So yeah, this was the first game. Let's guys move on to the next one. So I had the white pieces here and I opened with e3. Tugger responded with a leer dead. I played the move I have started playing, which is queen to f3, kind of trying to throw off black, trying to throw black off book. So we have bishop to b7, which is the best response to queen f3, and here it's, I don't know, it doesn't really matter which piece I take. Both of them are kind of equally fine. Also, I tried queen f7 at the later extent of the match, but guys, you're gonna see that in a couple of minutes. So here we have bishop b7, as I said, queen takes bishop, knight a6, queen takes pawn, rook takes queen, takes, knight c3, preventing the rook to conquer the a file here and to take all of black's pieces. So we have knight to c3, rook takes pawn, knight a2, g5, just normal moves, trying to develop, trying to open up the king side. Developing move back, knight to e2, queen c8, taking some space for the queen, g3, knight h6, h4, takes, rook takes, bishop to g7, which I kind of missed during the match, I believe, as far as I can recall. Rook takes knight, bishop takes pawn, and here a fatal blunder by me. Rook b6, pawn takes rook, bishop takes bishop, queen c2, bishop takes rook, queen a2, rook a2, and here the winning move for black was e5, which Tugger missed. Here the thing is, this sequence, h4, d5, and after e4, even after f3 or d3, the problem is that I can't just force the pawn to move forward, not either giving itself or taking my knight. And also the same goes for the If I push d3 and the black pawn takes my pawn on d3, so yeah. But Tugger missed that. He pushed e6 instead. I'm not sure if it was a mouse slip or he just didn't think it was winning for him. Maybe he also kind of tried to um like to lose here the black squares around the king, also in the center, like all the black squares I control with my bishop. So yeah, here I could see what the problem is for me. So I tried to give away something just to have his pawn run all the way down. So he took my rook, and after d4, unfortunately, I couldn't see, I kind of couldn't evaluate that. After f6, king e8, I'm gonna attack the a5 pawn, so he had an extra move which would win him the game. So we have f6, bishop takes, king d8, bishop takes king, and after h5 I resign because after bishop takes pawn we have h4, pawn takes e5, pawn takes d6, pawn takes, and black is victorious. Instead I had to play king d1 just to release the tension, the pressure from the knight here, so I could also escape with the king and come closer to the pawn on a5. But yeah, I didn't see that. So yeah, this was it for the second game. Let's move on to the next one. Here Tugger opened with g3. We have c5 by me, knight h3, and here d6, which occurs turns out to be made in 16 for white, but Tugger couldn't spot it. So yeah, actually I can see how this is losing, and here bishop b2. Yeah. The problem is that after bishop g7, I take both takes of mine are protected pieces, so my dark squared bishop is gonna just take all the white's pieces. But as I said, Tugger didn't see that, so he moved the knight back to g1. We have h5 by me, f4, playing some wild moves on the king side. We have g5 by me, pawn takes, bishop h6, pawn takes, bishop, knight takes, pawn, h4, and here we have queen b6, which according to the engine is a blunder. Tugger had to play bishop to g2, but he played b4 instead, which is a mistake. So I took with the queen. We have d4, which is a slight inaccuracy according to the engine. We have pawn takes pawn, bishop takes knight, rook takes bishop, queen d4, and here queen takes king, even though now I would probably take the queen when I look at it. But yeah, I took the king instead, and here we are forced to play a queen race. So we have queen takes pawn on a7, they just open up my rook. On the a file, we have queen takes bishop, queen takes rook, which is a blunder because white just gets rid of my second piece that would eventually start taking pieces of its opponent. So we have queen takes rook, queen takes pawn on e2, queen takes pawn on b7, queen takes pawn on c2, queen takes bishop on c8, and here we have queen b1, very accurate play by me. Here we have queen takes knight on b8, and here it's already made in 19 for me, which of course means a win. Let's see what happened. I took the knight, Tugger took my pawn on d6, and here I missed a very easy mate, which is rook takes queen, and here regardless of which rook Tugger uses to take my queen, we have rook to d1, rook takes rook, king d7, rook takes king f5, rook takes pawn on e7, and after f4, g takes f4, black is victorious, but I missed that. I was down to 3 seconds. So I took with the pawn. I was just really focused that now after he takes my queen back, he controls the e1 square with both of his rooks, so his back rank is very weak. And I thought it was winning regardless after rook e6, which turns out to be very false. Here the right move was rook to g2, which is kind of a very computer move, and here Tudor played the natural move rook g to e1 instead. So rook takes rook, rook takes rook, king. No, actually, here I was also calculating king e7 during the game to push the pawn, but I didn't really want to allow him to push g4, so I played f5 instead. He takes my king, and here we have f4, which according to the table base is a draw, but the engine is kind of disagreeing with that. We have d5 only moved by me, a4, d4, rook e4. He kind of sees that rook promo for me would be a very possible, it would be a potential threat for me. So with rook e4, he prevents it by placing his rook on the same rank as his pawns where they are. So we have d3, f5, d2, f6, king promo only way to draw this. We have rook b4, king e2 mistake by me, which now is a win for white. f7, he plays the right move, king e3. Here the only move for a win was rook b1, but he played rook b8 instead, which is still a draw. We have king f4, a5, king f5, a6, king f6, a7, king takes pawn, rook b1, and here the right move was king e7, but I played king f6 instead, which is again winning for white. Rook promotion, this is the right way to execute that. We have king g6, rook d1, king f6, just moving my king back and forth just to make a move and not lose on time. Here we have rook c8, king g6, rook e8, very precise play by Tudor, king h6, just forcing my king to go into the corner to the last file here, the h file. Rook f1, very nice move. So I'm forced to sack my king. We have king g5, hg, h4, g6, h3, rook g1, h2, and here he mouse slipped. He like I think he wrote it somewhere in the game. I believe he wrote it to me. He wanted to place it on g5, which would be the right way to play this. But here after rook g4, it's a complete turnaround. Bishop promotion is a win for me, which I spotted nicely. The problem is that here both rooks control the e4 square, so now he's forced to sack the rooks. So we have rook g2, bishop takes rook, rook e8, bishop a8, g7, and here typical endgame where the side with the bishop has to take the next diagonal kind of square, if I can call it so, with the bishop, which is achieved by playing the bishop in the central square. In this case, this is bishop to e4, and here, regardless of what he promotes to, this is just winning for the bishop. So he promoted to a king, and after bishop h7, king takes the bishop, black is victorious. So here, so far we have 2-1 in Tudor's favor. Let's proceed with the next game. Here I had the white pieces, and I opened with a4. We have c5, and I responded with c4, which transposes to the symmetrical variation of the wizard opening, the so-called wizard opening, and English opening in chess, respectively. So we have queen c7, the most played move, I believe, or at least the most common move to see in this setup, in this position, in this opening. Here I tried to play the move that is the hardest to refute, which is f4. So we have queen takes f4, and here queen c2, queen takes bishop, mistake according to the engine, king takes queen, d5, c takes d5, king d7, and here this was made in 14 for me, which I believe the engine maybe prefers queen takes to h7, but I took on c5 instead, which is still good for me. We have a6, queen takes pawn on e7, king takes queen, g4 here. Bishop takes pawn on g4, and here I had to play d4, but I played knight to a3 instead. My idea was to set up this threat of knight b5, and after ab, his rook would take all of my pieces. But unfortunately this didn't happen, because after bishop takes the pawn on e2, we have knight takes bishop, king e6, very nice move by Tugger, pawn takes king, bishop takes knight, of course getting rid of this knight b5 threat. So we have rook takes bishop, f takes pawn, rook c3, knight e7. Here rook c6, I don't know why I even played that, it wasn't necessary at all. I mean, I could always sacrifice my rook, because he really over controls the c6 and c8 squares. The engine prefers king f2, just developing move with the king. But yeah, I played rook c6 instead. We have pawn takes rook, knight c3, now trying to conquer these squares here, which are again totally over controlled by black. We have knight d5, exchange of the knights. We have king e2, developing move, very natural move in my opinion. Rook a7, trying to undouble the rooks on the back rank. His next idea is just to develop the knight, but he wanted to avoid rook f1. So we have b3, knight d7, b4, he sacked his knight, bc5, g5, bishop a3. This again looks very winning for me. With bishop a3 I just escape from the pin, kinda trying to push the pawn in the center. Next, but he played d4, and here I believe I would either play king e3 now or d4, but I moved my bishop back, which of course is a bad move, because again I have this nasty pin here on the c5 h6 diagonal. So here Tugger played rook c8, I played king e3, king d3, sorry, king e3 is the best move according to the engine. We have rook d6, a5, rook e1, very precisely played by me. Here a couple of takes by me. Tugger decided to drop some pieces and to gain some time back on the clock. We have rook e3 here. I'm just avoiding h1 promotion and then giving away the other h-pawn. So we have king promotion, rook f8, king h2, rook h3, d4, h6, bishop takes king h4, bishop g5, rook e8. I'm playing only moves for a win, but unfortunately, after a couple of moves here, to be more precise, it actually led to a draw, which Tugger very accurately saw how to do. So yeah, here he was just playing his king symmetrically to mine, like he was making opposition, just preventing me from coming out with my king. And yeah, here we agreed to a draw. This is the next game. We have again c4 by Tugger. Maybe he spotted that, he noticed that in this particular match this was my weak, how can I call it, like maybe, yeah, just weak opening. And the opening I just couldn't play precisely against, couldn't like punish very well, because I lost a lot of games with it. So here I tried to be innovative. I played bishop to e6, which is actually a very nice move when I look at it now. We have knight c3, bishop takes pawn, knight takes bishop, knight d7, just developing my knight and also making some space for the rook. We have knight h3, g5, and here e6, a fatal blunder by me. Here I completely missed the move d4, which is the right move for white, which also Tugger played. Absolute credits to him. Absolutely well deserved to win the game. We have queen takes pawn, of course, knight g5. And now the problem is that I over control the h6 square, and also I can just defend against either knight e6 or knight h7, because both of the pieces, actually all of three pieces he attacks, are protected by some of my other pieces, so I wasn't just like prepared enough to avoid that, to escape from that. So here I just played something out of just like desperation. I played rook d8. We have knight e6, pawn takes knight, and here after bishop h6. I was even thinking to resign, but I decided to play it all the way up to the end. Here, no matter what I take with, white is just victorious. So I decided to take with the knight. We have g4, pawn takes, knight takes pawn, rook g1, knight h2, rook g8, of course, very nice move. Also trying to involve my rook in the action. So we have rook takes rook, bishop g2, rook takes bishop, king f2, rook takes king, queen c1, very nice move. Rook takes pawn, queen c2, and here, of course, he places his rook on the same file as where his last pawn is gonna be. So we have rook b2, a waiting move, rook takes knight, rook d2, and here, of course, I resigned. So yeah, this is the next game. I again opened with e3. Um, Here we have b6 again, delirier that maybe he expected that I'm gonna play queen f3 again. Maybe I had to switch to something else. But yeah, guys, you're gonna just see my emotions, my reactions during the match, and everything I had to fight against during it. So yeah, we have queen f3, bishop b7, and here, as I mentioned in the beginning, I just tried both takes, which didn't lead to a big success for me. So here we have queen f7, bishop takes pawn on g2, bishop takes bishop. A better move is queen takes pawn on g7, which really didn't cross my mind. But I took the bishop instead. We have king takes queen, bishop takes rook, d5, and here I could remember that I had watched somewhere in the past, I don't know when, um, that a3 is the only move here, but I played b3 instead. The idea is just not to allow b5 or knight c6 respectively. But yeah, I played b3 instead. Almost rushed it. I just spent a second on that. So here he took, c takes, and here knight c6 would be a very good move for him, because he either threatens knight b4 to take on a2, and then after knight c3, knight takes back, then there would be b5, or also, of course, threaten knight d4. But instead he played h5, which is a blunder. I played knight e2. I just wanted to prevent h4. It would be met by knight g3, and then his rook would become a losing cannon. So yeah, he played knight h6 to prevent that. I played king d1. Here, the same idea with knight c6 would remain. But yeah, he didn't play it again. He played g5, rook e1, g4, f3, knight b to c3, pawn takes knight, knight takes pawn, king e6. We have d4. I just tried to set up some chain of takes here. I'm not really sure what this would lead to, because after he takes my bishop with his bishop, his pawn on e7 is unprotected, so I can't play knight d4 or knight f4. Yeah, anyways, but he played c6 instead. He just wanted to defend against d5. I played d5. God knows why. I wouldn't play that now. But also I was down to 10 seconds. Also I have to mention that my time management seems to be just awful. Yeah, basically in all the important matches it was just awful. I can remember that. So here after a couple of takes by black we have bishop takes the knight on h6, and here mistake by him. He took with the rook. I played king to c2, e3, rook a to c1, king d7, and here I had to play king d2, which I didn't see. Then I had to just move the rook on c4 and then maybe play rook to g4 to open up the rook. But I played a4 instead, losing all of my advantage. So here he had to play king c8 to prevent king d2 because my rook would be pinned. But here he played rook g6 instead. He was really taking a lot of time. So yeah, he played rook g6, but he missed knight g3, rook takes knight, rook e3 now, and now after rook takes rook, king d3, he resigned because I'm gonna eventually sacrifice all of my pieces in a couple of moves. So yeah, we have the next game again c4 by him. He was just playing perfectly the wizard opening against me in this match. So he tried everything possible to keep the advantage and not giving me any chances to strike back and potentially to catch up after losing some games in the beginning. Um, so here, of course, we have c4 again, b5, c takes pawn, and now here e6. I just try to kind of maybe surprise him, just play something new in the match and also play various stuff. So of course, make it more interesting for you guys who watch the video. Here we have g4, very interesting. We have bishop a3, knight takes bishop, and here d6. We have b6, c takes pawn, g5, queen takes pawn, and here queen a4, kind of trying to initiate a queen race. But after queen takes pawn on d2, he took with the king my queen, so now I had to solve the problem of either queen e8 or queen a7, e5. Very interesting move by the engine. I just played a very natural move, developing my knight and also kind of blocking the way to my king. So yeah, we have queen takes knight, king takes queen, knight back to b1, knight e7, developing my knight, of course. Knight f3. Here I could see that I was much better, but of course my time management, of course, beating myself twice, was just awfully bad. So here he had a lot of problems with his bishops. I was just totally dominating here. His knight was out of the game, his rook is out of the game, this rook is sleeping on a1 just because he couldn't move out his knight on b1. But yeah, here doubling the pawns in the center, just very good execution by me. Here trying to suppress the bishop on the king side by moving the pawn forward. e4, which is made in 12 for me. But unfortunately, after bishop to h3, I had just 6 seconds. I got totally panicked. I didn't know what to do. I just could feel everything was winning. It was just, I was trying to find the most accurate way to win the game instead of just playing something solid and obvious and with the hope of gaining some time back on the clock, which in this case would be just king to c7, very obvious move. But unfortunately, out of desperation and just in my panic, I played knight to f5, which totally turns the table. Um, Now I get myself into a worse position because after bishop, he gets rid of his awful bishop, taking my good knight, which was also pinning his bishop on a3. So I'm giving away a good piece for one of his bad pieces, which of course favors him. So we have bishop takes knight, g takes bishop, e takes pawn. I also undouble his pawns, and here now I have my bishop pinned. I just did it myself. I didn't like I forced myself to do that. It wasn't him who forced me to do it, or like he didn't do anything specific to force me to do that. It was just totally my fault, and I'm just the only one whom I should blame for my failure in this game particularly, and also in the match, regardless of the circumstances, of course. So here we have b5 trying to block the queen side here, but of course nothing was already helping because here he was in the driving seat already. So we have king d2, rook d8, bishop c1, getting it back, of course. Now it has also a very good position, and my bishop is just awful. We have king e6, pawn takes my king, and here I had to play bishop takes the pawn, attacking his king and also attacking the pawn on e2, with the idea of opening up his rook. But instead I took his king first, which now is winning for him. We have knight takes, rook, f takes, h3, very nice move by Tiger. a6, I'm just out of moves, guys. I'm just out of moves. This is just insane. Just throwing away a completely winning position into getting into a very losing one. Here I'm just in a total zugzwang. So here rook h2, rook d7, just something, knight g3, pawn takes, rook b1, a waiting move, pawn takes rook, bishop d2, rook takes, bishop h4, rook takes pawn here, and after rook takes pawn I have to take his rook, and after h5 he was winning. If I had won this game, I would absolutely equalize the match, guys. Totally unbelievable. I was just so close after being down 2-0, facing all these issues at the beginning of the match, and also which kind of followed me throughout the match. I was still that close to equalize the match and just make it even more exciting than it already was, especially for the audience and all the people who are watching this, and also you guys who are watching this video right now. But yeah, as I said, it wasn't just meant to be. Um, so yeah, let's move to the next game. Here again we have e3, b6, the layer that defends, and here again I played queen f3. Very big mistake by me. I just had to try to diversify, to play something else, maybe get some other positions that could maybe um, that maybe could have been just uncomfortable for him. But yeah, I just decided to stick to the same stuff, which was a very bad idea considering that I was down with you already in the match and he just needed a single win to clinch the win for this match. So yeah, we have queen f3, bishop b7 again, queen f7 again, bishop takes bishop. Here the stuff I already provided my comment on. Here I took with the king. I believe I took with the bishop. I'm really not sure already what I did the first game. Anyways, so we have king d2, h5, knight e2, or maybe this was actually the... Yeah, this was the very same game we played. So yeah, c4, trying to maybe get rid of some of his pawns on the queen side, so I could also suppress the knight by moving my other pawns on the queen side, and also release some tension from these pieces here. But yeah, he played knight d7, nice move by him, c5, pawn takes pawn, b4. Here a couple of sacrifices, king e6, f4, g5, pawn takes, and here knight g8, very nice move by Tagar, I would say. Yeah, just basically it prevents me from pushing g6 and this pawn becomes totally stuck there. So we have e4, blunder by me. He gets rid of his bishop, a couple of exchanges, and here after king c3, knight c2, king c2, rook b1, takes, knight b6. I already knew I was losing, unfortunately. And also, guys, you can see that my time management again was just absolutely um, disgusting, because I'm like down half a minute in a 1 minute game. Like, what is this stupidity? I just don't get it. So I have a4, couple of sacrifices, knight f7, c7, rook d3, and here I disconnected, but that's not the reason for my loss. Even if I hadn't disconnected, I would still lose the game, because regardless of what I promote to, I'm just losing. So yeah, let's say I promote to a king, we have rook d7, knight e5, and this is winning for him. If we have knight promo, we have just knight e5, knight c6, and rook d4. If I promote to a bishop, just all of his pieces are on white square, so he just makes some waiting moves with the rook. Yeah, then if I promote to a rook, he has knight h8 and then e5, getting his pawns on the same rank. Oops, that was a mouse slip, sorry. And of course, if I promote to a queen, this doesn't make any difference. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. Again, we have c4. Here, maybe I shouldn't have played b5 again, maybe something else, knight h6, g6, e6 maybe, c6, I don't know. But yeah, we have b5, cb, d6, b6, pawn takes, and now we have f4, very common one, particularly played by him and Kex. Kex, if you're watching this video, greetings to you, my friend. So we have f4, g5, fg, h6. I try to be kind of creative and innovative. I usually play bishop h6, but I face h4 here after the exchanges. So instead I decided to be innovative, as I mentioned. Pawn takes pawn, rook takes pawn, g4, bishop takes pawn, bishop h3, bishop takes, knight takes, rook f1, rook takes pawn, rook takes f7, rook takes c2, king takes rook, a lot of exchanges happen, king e3, queen e8. Yeah, maybe I would have played king g6 now when I look at it, to be honest. We have queen e8, queen e1, knight f6, very good moves so far by me. And here we have d3, which is made in 16 for me, which really makes sense. The right move is knight a6, because after queen a5, a5, b4, I can comfortably take with the knight attacking a3 and d3. So yeah, also opening up the bishop. But yeah, this is basically his idea to threaten queen a5 by playing d3. But I played queen a4 instead. We have queen h1, the right move by Tagar, queen a2, queen a8, and here I made the last blunder, which is queen b1. I really thought that I had to keep his rook attacking my pawn, so eventually having him taking my pieces with two of his pieces, in compared to me having only my queen. But yeah, in this case I had to take his rook. But this is something maybe only the engine can properly evaluate in the particular position. So I took the knight, we have queen a7, getting rid of this rook a7 threat involving his second piece. to take my pieces. We have queen b2, queen b8, queen c1, and after queen b6 I just resigned. I could see I was losing, because if I take the rook, the thing is that his next take is on a defended piece, and after that he further takes one of my two protected pieces, and that's the problem of mine. Whereas his pieces are scattered. Eventually, if I take his king, he takes my pawn, and after I take, he just takes or takes on e7. Doesn't really matter. I have to capture back. I'm the last one to finish the race, and then he can just comfortably get rid of his rook, and he wins the game. So yeah, here already we were playing for fun, I believe. I could, of course, finish the match and just suffer the loss, but I decided to have a fighting spirit, which didn't really pay off. But yeah, doesn't really matter. I had already lost the match, so I could afford to play everything and just maybe try to at least score some wins. But I couldn't, unfortunately. You guys are gonna see what happened in the last three games actually. So yeah, here I decided to open with the wizard opening. He responded with the symmetrical variation. I played his response a4, queen c7, queen c2 this time, not f4, queen h2, queen h7, queen takes queen, rook takes rook, and here I had to play b4 instead of d4. But here my idea was just to get rid of my bishop as early as possible. But yeah, I played d4, c takes, bishop h6, and here already it's made in 15 for him, which is just insane. I played c5, so I could prevent b5. c5, we have rook h3, gh, d6 blunder by him. He had to play d3 first, so we have d6, pawn takes pawn. He took my pawn first with the bishop, which was kind of weird. I'm not really sure what I would have done if he had taken the pawn first. The problem is that I double control the h3 square with my bishop and my knight. But he took my pawn instead on h3 first. So I took with the bishop, and here of course I had to play bishop e6. When I look at it now, it's so obvious. Instead I played bishop d7, helping him to develop his knight for nothing, and also setting up this nasty threat of b5, which would open my rook. So I played knight a3, just blocking the way of the rook on the a file. We have knight e7, rook c1, I could spot that. Now he controls the c6 and the c8 squares with two of his pieces, so rook c1 was totally fine. I also wanted to get rid of the a file, of course, because of the threat I just mentioned a couple of seconds ago. So we have rook c8, knight c8, a5, b6 takes, knight c4. I had to go back to b1 just to keep the knight. Knight c4, king e7. I would maybe take on b6 now, I don't know. But just knight d6 just looks that I just develop his king even further. But my idea was just to have his bishop kind of open on the diagonal, so I of course played b4 to pin it. We have b5 by him blocking it, which was kind of weird. If I were black, I would wait for white to eventually push b5, so I have these three takes there, and of course enough time to set up as many takes as possible afterwards. So yeah, we have b5, e3 takes, knight c to b6, knight e2, bishop e7 developing his bishop of course, king d2 developing my king, bishop d8, knight f4, g6, takes, e4, knight c5, kinda weird in my opinion, takes, e5, knight a4, king e2, bishop g5, king f1, knight c3, e6, bishop e3, e7, g5, and here I think just king g1 and bishop promotion would lead to a draw, but maybe The thing is that I didn't want to draw, but wanted to fight for a win, considering the fact that I was just so many games already. But I promoted to a king. We have g4, king f7, king d4, king g1, and this is already losing for me. We have king g6, b4, king f7, bishop f2, king e7, b3, king d7, bishop e1, and here I lost on time, unfortunately. I was trying to calculate either king d6 or king e6 because I could see might be a draw. Might be a draw, but yeah, I just ran out of time. Actually, the table base agrees with me in this case. King d6 or king e6 would be a draw. Yeah. Anyways, so he opened with c4. Again, we have c5, g3, a5, knight h3. Again, I could play the winning sequence, the one I showed at the very beginning of the analysis part, guys. Hopefully you remember that. But I just removed bishop a6. Yeah. So yeah, here a couple of exchanges, very symmetrical setup on the queen side. We have queen takes pawn on d7, king takes queen, knight back to g1, queen a3, rook d1, queen takes pawn on a2, just removing the pin from the rook on a8. We have e3, queen d2. Here I took on e3, which occurs to be the right move, but unfortunately I couldn't see the winning sequence here. Knight e7, very nice, just very nice. Threatening g5 and then rook f6. I just didn't see that. I played g5. I took like half a minute, but yeah, here I played f6 and now this turns the tables, which leads to a mate for him in 27. But yeah, he didn't see it, and now just another blunder by white. So this is a pure roller coaster. Of course, this, wow, I can see how this wins actually. Just rook g3, knight g3. Of course, I'm not mentioning hg because it's way easier to win against just the knight back and forth. But instead this one, and now the rook somewhere. I think this is very winning. Or maybe, no, wait a sec, no guys, I'm sorry, I meant knight f6, this one. Yeah, so the thing is I threaten knight g3 or knight f4, and also I can move my rook away. Thing is after, what I'm doing after, oh, after king e2 I just have knight f4, and after pawn takes knight I have rook h2, yeah, very easy to spot. But I played knight h6 instead, which is still not that bad, but it doesn't necessarily lead to a forced win. So we have h3, but of course I should be better because of the rook and also the advanced pawn, I guess. And also I stop white's pawn to move in the center because I have knight f5, rook b8, knight c1, rook g8, king e2, knight f7. Here we were playing on a couple of seconds, knight d8, knight b7. I really experienced some lacks here. I just looked at this part of the stream before I started recording the analysis part. Yeah, here I was just trying not to lose on time and make some moves because I was getting enormous whacks, unfortunately. So yeah, here rook g3 I sacrificed out of desperation. I knew it was bad, but yeah. And after knight e1 I just lost on time. The problem is that whatever I promote to, it's winning for white. And also the knight is very bad. I mean, I have to move it back, but what's the point of that? He just controls all the key squares here. if I play my knight forward. Anyways, we are up to the last game. We have b3 by me, just something, b6, c4, e6, a4, just playing some wild stuff, maybe trying with the hope of surprising him, but I couldn't do it. Yeah, and here, how could I not spot b4 and then e4, bishop b5, just open everything here. Yeah, this is just so winning, so winning. I don't know what was wrong with me. Maybe I was already too affected by this fact. I played d4 instead, which is just ridiculous. And here I misplayed it. Knight promotion, of course. Bishop f7, rook h2, and here I resigned. He wrote to me, he thought I was fine, but I'm not. The thing is, bishop e6, knight g2. And after this one, rook takes. And here I just take all of the pieces. Another sequence is bishop g8, of course. He has rook g8, rook h2, knight g2. We have a very similar position. So yeah guys, very unfortunate. Yeah, you're gonna just see the entire stream, the entire games, like the separate video of the games and also the analysis part, which is already almost an hour long, which I'm really sorry about, but we played 12 games and it's always very exciting to play against Tugger and share everything um, regarding the positions and the games, because everything is just so wild when we both play. Alright guys, so now I have to combine the videos, kind of yeah, I have some more work to do and then I'm gonna upload the entire result, the entire video on YouTube. So guys, I'm gonna see you very soon on YouTube. Hopefully you're gonna enjoy the games and the analysis. It will be maybe about 2 hours long, which I'm sorry about this fact, but yeah, it's just, as I said, very exciting. Alrighty guys, I hope you liked the analysis. If that's the case, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, provide your comments and feedbacks down in the section below. We have a lot of exciting content coming up, so make sure to subscribe to the channel in order not to miss it. Thank you very much for watching guys. I'm gonna see you very soon. Bye bye, take care.